Hey guys, as always, thanks for stopping by. Are American traditions under attack? Well, let's talk about that coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by you, freedom-loving guys and gals. Yesterday, you all destroyed the like button, and that helps get this message out to more folks. So to all you patriots, thank you. Pat on the back all around. So a couple times this week, I've talked about how our way of life that I've said that I feel like we're under attack, and boy oh boy did some folks get upset. Let me walk you through some thoughts on this and how all of this ties back to the Second Amendment. As I sit here in front of this camera, I'll be 46 years old here in a few weeks. I'm a dad, I'm a Tennessean, a husband. I'm a Christian, although not always a very good one, and I'm a lot more things on top of that. But all of those identities aside, I'm an American. And a proud American at that. I believe in this country. I love me some America. Always have. I really do. I honestly love this place. Now, I grew up in the late 70s and all through the 80s, and I guess I kind of came of age and went through college in the 90s. Childhood was full of the Atari 2600 and hiking and fishing, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, ball teams at school, going to church youth group. And really nothing about my experience would surprise you. Our household was just as dysfunctional as y'all's was. And my greatest two loves have always been movies and guns. Still is. I love me some old movies and I love firearms. I'm passionate about gunpowder. And even though I grew up down a gravel driveway in Appalachia with a dog and a Nintendo and a father that went to work every single day. I grew up, had a father at home. You know, it's pretty typical, I think, if you were to say, what would a red-blooded American guy grow up with? You know, a kind that ends up at this age clinging to his Bible and his gun. Yeah, that's how I grew up. But all that aside, I still think today that my understanding of what is a traditional American, what are our traditional values, I think I'm realistic. I know there's folks that live in the inner city and they don't go into the backyard and shoot squirrels, but they're still Americans. I know that there's some Democrats that love this country, at least a half dozen of them, and they're still Americans. I know that even in this audience, we've got atheists and agnostics and flying spaghetti monster worshipers. We've got Baptists and Buddhists and High Point owners, and together we are all Americans. So, to be clear, when I say American traditions, it's not about white picket fences and singing, bringing in the sheaves on Sunday. Like I said yesterday, it's not about Mayberry. That show was filmed in a parking lot in California, so even Mayberry wasn't Mayberry. But all that aside, I say that yes, our very way of life is being challenged. Our traditions are under attack. And it doesn't matter if you're a lady rancher in West Texas today who's getting ready to deal with all of the spring newborn calves that are coming in, or maybe you install windshields on new cars in the Mercedes-Benz plant in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Or maybe you're retired and you watch YouTube videos all the time. Shout out to all the retirees out there. There's a bunch of y'all. We're all Americans, and our way of life is being undermined by progressives, socialists, and communists. Now, it's not a very specific way. There's not one way that's being attacked. What's being chipped away at is the document that spells out the freedoms that we have and how we do our government. The Constitution of the United States. It spells out, it defines, and it limits our government. And out of that, we have strong borders, a military that frees us from the fear of foreign invasion, and that allows us to speak confidently with the First Amendment, to speak out against the government whenever we want to. Watch this. Trump is good. Trump is bad. Orange Man is really bad. Yeah, all of that was freedom. But boy, this next part, I honestly, I get chills talking about this. Unlike almost every other country in the world, we have written into our Constitution a right to defend ourselves from tyranny. We have a right to own and to bear arms, to have a militia if we so choose, or to go out and shoot pizza boxes with our sons and our daughters. For the record, and you can write this one down, our way of life is under attack and has been literally for decades. Those people, they want to flood our cities with foreign nationals who do not want to assimilate. They want to destroy our election process by having dead people vote and non-citizens vote and no voter ID. And there's a massive swell taking place right now with those people trying to destroy the Electoral College. I'll talk about that real soon down the road. But by the way, for the record, I'm 100% fine with legal immigration. Richard, who's a viewer of this channel, shout out to Richard, he's made application to the United States. He's doing it the right way. And I really am honestly looking forward to his citizenship. But the chipping away goes on from there. It's much more than I can cover in one video. We have a government that is bloated beyond function, a tax code that is out of control. We're taxed when we make money, and we're taxed again when we spend it. The government is in our homes, our cars, our jobs, our food, and even in our relationships. Uncle Sam has turned into a nanny. And some other time we're going to talk about school curriculum and big pharma that has hijacked our medical industry. And they're literally even denying basic science, like, I don't know. So how do we keep all of this nonsense in check? Well, one part, but it's a big part of the equation, is the right to keep and bear arms. And I will not back down on this next part. We literally are equipped to stand up against tyranny. And boy, we have certainly equipped ourselves. Americans own 400 million guns. Hey, by the way, guys, those are some rookie numbers. Y'all need to pump those up. Now, I said at the beginning that people were upset with me this week when I said that our way of life is under attack. And I'll say it again, our way of life is being eroded. And that's another reason we need to stay vigilant. And that's what I do on this channel, is I help myself and all of us to stay vigilant. And I'll say it again, from my cold, dead hands. Now that's how I see it. What do you think? Leave me a comment right down below and let's have a conversation. I'm Johnny. Let freedom ring. Bye.